Shalom. Want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Harakakodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the hopeful elect brothers that's doing the will of the Lord in sincerity and in truth. Now, Lord will is an edifying lesson, and it's based on the recent news of the ICE federal agents deleting someone which is an American citizen. Now, this is YouTube, ABC News, and this is JD Vance, and this is about something else, but I want you to hear his response. This was about the thing that happened a few days ago with the 5-year-old Jake boy that they used to lure out his father, which is a so-called illegal immigrant, to detain him, and then they actually detained the 5-year-old, which Esau is showing his hate again, which that hate never left for the Israelites. They are the nation of Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white people, and the Israelites are us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And we've been enemies since the womb. And I'm going to play it, and I'm going to get scriptures and articles and end the lesson.
District here is alleging ICE agents detaining a 5-year-old after preschool on Tuesday. We've also seen multiple American citizens detained by ICE or harassed by ICE in the last 6 weeks. Are you proud of how your administration is conducting this immigration crackdown here in Minnesota?
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind law enforcement, and I'm proud of the fact that we're enforcing the country's laws. But, you asked a question about this 5-year-old kid. I actually saw this terrible story while I was coming to Minneapolis. We had just left Toledo, Ohio this morning for an economic messaging event. And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy. And I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien. And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America? If the argument is that you can't arrest people who have violated the laws because they have children, then every single parent is going to be completely given immunity from ever being the subject of law enforcement. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so you heard what he said. They used the 5-year-old son, the Israelite boy, to lure out his father. But they actually detained the 5-year-old boy. What he's saying is a lie. They actually detained the 5-year-old boy because they're going after old, regular, middle-aged, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and young, as in teenagers, and young children, as in children that are 10 and below, 10 years old and below. Recently, they arrested a teenager. It was cold, and he wasn't wearing much clothes, and they escorted him out. They didn't have him put on any jacket or pants or anything. Now, that's their response on it. They're for it. And Kirsty Noem. Wait, let me get a scripture first. This is the second time I'm doing this video. I did it a few hours ago, and somehow it wasn't saved to my phone, so I'm doing this video again. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. And it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea." And the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea are the people. That's in these different countries, especially Babylon the Great. "For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time." So who is the devil? The devil is the deceiver, or when you go into it, slanderer, which is Esau, Edom. Esau always paints the picture of the Israelites as being, criminals, deadbeat dads, as in Northern Kingdom, where they're going out there right now with these ICE immigration raids, illegal immigrants, they hop the border and they need border security, they need a wall, to block them off from coming here. All things negative. And concerning the men of the Lord, the Israelites that repented and that have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahshai, and that's preaching repentance to our people, and that's preaching the downfall of this place and his rule of the earth, right? We are TER, and you know the rest, IST. And he's gonna slander or lie, as an excuse to go for the men of the Lord, especially using AI. Revelation 12 and 12, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, meaning destruction, to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is deceiver, slanderer, Esau, Edom. The devil is the same as the wicked," which as a nation, the wicked is so-called Caucasian, so-called white man. Starting with their top elite banking families and going on, trickling down to these presidents and prime ministers of these different of the countries, like the Roman Empire reborn, the EU and NATO countries that represents the Roman Empire, and America, which is Babylon the Great, and that's a part of it. "For the devil, Esau, Edom, is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time." And this is an example of that great wrath. He's coming down with great wrath on the children of Israel. Not just the ones that believe in Yahweh Shem Yahshai, not just the ones that's preaching the scriptures, preaching against this place, but all Israelites. He's coming against. He's going to come down on all Israelites, but of course the main target is the men of the Lord and the believers. Having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. So his time is short for rulership, because he sees the signs of the end. And he's getting mad, he's getting angry, and he's showing his wrath that he never changed. He still hates Jacob, and he's going to try to put Jacob in slavery again. But it's not going to be so, because the Lord is going to lift up a standard against the devil, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. So the Most High is shortening the days, literally, because 24 hours now in 2026 is less time than 24 hours 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago. As the days and weeks and months goes on, time literally gets shorter, because the Most High is literally speeding up the time, shortening the days for his elect's sake. And this is an example of great wrath, the attention of the 5-year-old. Another one, this is from Now This Impact. Minnesota is showing the rest of the country what standing up to ICE look like. So federal agents shoot and kill kill another Minneapolis resident.
Now Minnesota after
And this happened yesterday.
After an encounter.
Federal agents fatally shoot another Minneapolis resident. So I was going into how, well, on the video that I did before on the same topic, but it never saved, how that the people in the U.S. is starting to receive the same treatment as the people that's in these other countries over the U.S. go and bully and take over, and occupy and take their resources and destroy their economy and put in, replace the rulers as for their benefit and have the country all messed up and corrupt, and give them that wine, homoism, democracy. Feminism is a big one too, like Afghanistan and the other countries that the U.S. invade and take over. Yes, Halakia. These U.S. citizens are receiving the same treatment that they've seen on TV that's been going on in these other countries for years, whether actually by U.S. occupation or by the middlemen like Al Qaeda and these different groups that Esau actually set up to terrorize these other countries. Now they're getting the same treatment which they thought they could not, ever get the treatment as these, like for example the Palestinians of how they're being mistreated and murdered and having thousands die, and die of famine and by the sword by these Amalekites. Now they're starting to witness it here. And this is judgment from the Most High, because the Most High left this place for last. He saved the best for last. And this is the great wrath, not just on the Israelites, but the whole country, right? Let me get... Where is it? I had it earlier. My lesson right here. So, Matthew chapter 24, because everyone's going to be in straits. Everyone's going to be in dire situations and trouble. But right now we're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. This is actually, a police state in the making. Matthew chapter 24 and 21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So think of the worst situations that happened throughout history. I always bring it up. Slavery was bad. It was a horrible time. Those couple hundreds of years that, we got slaughtered and we had to do free labor to build up this country and to build up Esau's empire, from the cotton to sugar cane, free labor. And right now is going to be a time worse than that. think of the worst time in history. Jacob's trouble is going to be worse than that. And except those days should be shortened, so the Most High shortening the time literally, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. So the Most High shortening the time and having these prophecies come to pass quickly. The prophecies are happening faster right now towards the MOTB especially. The 6G memorandum that's the documents from the actual government or the White House, and it has implantable devices in there when you go into it. And these companies that's pushing towards the perfection of the MOTB technology, like Neuralink, Elon Musk, and these other companies. So the prophecies are happening, faster. So Second Esdras chapter 16 and 71. Second Esdras chapter 16 and 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And this is a part of Jacob's trouble. A time like never before. Because the people that live here, the citizens of Babylon, they've never been through what they see on TV, but right now they're going through it, and this is only the beginning stages of it, because as it says, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, because they had the authority or the right to do it because of full immunity. But it's really partial immunity when you go into it, because the federal agents, ICE officers, they can be charged, but it's going to take a while. But pretty soon, this place is going to turn into a dictatorship, and they're going to have full absolute immunity. And you have the troops, and then you have the foreign troops, and then also you have the killer robots. You have technology that Esau is going to release on this place: sound weapons, laser weapons, bullets that could curve around, that could curve around a block. They have technology that they gave to these police, where they could see through walls using Wi-Fi, either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. So it's gonna get bad. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And these federal agents are getting a pass for deleting people. First it was Renee Good, which that was set up. Everything, they changed her name. It was one thing, and then they changed her name like the switch up is crazy, but they use the same pattern over and over again when they want a problem reaction solution. And these agents are really going after criminals. They're going after regular citizens because they want a reaction from the people. They want to get the people roused up. They want to get them emotional, full immunity. ICE. Madmen sparing none. Based on let's see. Based let me see. Do says no. I asked, do ICE have full immunity? And then it said no. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Hello, all customers. Affairs require your affairs keep all of us moving. Thank you for riding with us.
All right. No, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE agents do not have full or absolute immunity from criminal prosecutions or civil lawsuits. While they possess legal protections such as qualified immunity in civil cases, these are not blanket total exceptions from the law, which on paper they say that, but they are getting away with all this. Federal agents, including ICE, can be charged with and convicted of state crimes, assault, homicide, which is the second person that got deleted so far. Well, at least recorded, if they violate state laws even while on duty. They are subject to...
Hello, customers. Report any suspicious activities to an
Salakia.
employee or call 1-888-NYC-SAFE. As always, if you see something, say
Salakia.
Thank you for riding with us.
They are subject to federal investigations and prosecutions for unlawful conduct such as excessive force. But the president, the president and vice president and Secretary of Homeland Security, Chrissy Noem, they're giving these agents, passes for the mistreatment of the protesters and them deleting people. So when you think about it, technically, on paper, they don't have full immunity, but they do, because nothing's really going to happen to them and things are just going to get worse, This is Jacob's trouble. This is smart news. Judge grants restraining order against DHS after Alex Preddy killed in Minneapolis.
Between protesters and federal officers. A Border Patrol agent pushes a woman who is a protester. Preddy gets in between the...
So this is what inspired me to make this video. Well, everything before that, but this is like the latest edition because this happened yesterday. This is the latest news concerning ICE mistreatment. They shall be like madmen sparing none. This is really the beginning, though, because when you go over to, the land of the small hat people, they're committing thousands of people committing genocide against the Palestinians, which they're Ishmaelites, so-called Arab people. And then you have a few other groups mixed in with them too, like Persian people too, Syrian people.
Woman and the agent, who then appears to deploy pepper.
So what's going on in these other countries? Of these people being targeted and deleted. It's coming here. This is the beginning stages of it.
Spray. As Preddy is being taken to the ground by a group of federal officers, one of them discovers he is armed with a handgun. Another officer opens fire.
The officers
So she
attempted to disarm this individual, but the
she
armed
lied and said that they were protecting themselves, but caught on video, they committed murder, which she says that was self-defense, but they want her impeached. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So madmen sparing none because they have the authority to do it, and they're trained. Just like how these police, they're actually trained to go after Israelites. To target Israelites and racially, profile Israelites, especially so-called Negro, and to use excessive force against them, like during these traffic stops, and delete them. They're actually trained to do that. Yeah. Like the enemy, like his hate towards Jake never changed. Like the only thing changed was the uniform and the speech. The speech changed a little bit, but they're really like mean, the same thing. But now under Trump, they could be real. They don't have to sugarcoat anything anymore. For this, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. They're going to come after the Israelites, including especially the men of the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. And that's what's going on with these immigration raids. This is an example,
Tonight,
as I
the
said
Columbia
before,
Heights School
of them detaining this 5-year-old boy's father, but they use him to lure him out, and he was in the detention center. Let me see. Oh yeah, this.
To some breaking news.
This from 3 days ago. ICE memo from whistleblowers say agents can enter homes without judicial warrants, so they could just target anybody. And remember what Chrissy Noem said: regular United States citizens have to walk around with proof, with papers that you're a citizen, just in case you're approached. You get me? So this is a police state in martial law. Well, not martial law yet, but this is definitely a police state, because they've been doing these raids from city to city, state to state, but then it's going to become the whole country. And somehow they're going to tie this in with the MOTB. If you want to stay here, if you're an immigrant and you want to stay here, then they got to take the chip. Sorry for sounding like a broken record, but this is prophecy come to pass. 2 Esdras chapter 16 and 71. For they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So they shall be like madmen, sparing none. This is another note that prophecy is coming to pass. They could enter without judicial warrants, in which they went into it that technically it's illegal, so you have laws that goes against the Constitution. So the Constitution don't mean anything. The president and these these wicked demons, they're showing the people that they never had rights to begin with. get another scripture and end it. Isaiah 59 and 19 says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun." The truth started to spread in the Western Hemisphere, starting with Elder High Priest Abba Bivens, then going on down to the men that he taught, going on down to our elders and apostles, and trickling down, to where you have camps in the States, and then you have camps worldwide, right? You have a camp in South America, Jamaica, Mexico, Canada, in the continent of Africa, in all over Europe, Australia. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west. And the Lord in all caps refers to Yahweh. But now we say Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Because to get to the Father, you have to go through the Son, because he's our mediator. He's the reason why we have the truth. He because of the sacrifice, the shedding of his blood for the sins of his people, the Israelites, but starting with the elect of his people. And his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And standard is going into spiritual power. You see, like how Esau has spiritual power on the left-hand side, because this technology that they have is a spiritual power. Let me go into it. USA uses weapons, unknown weapons, Venezuela.
It has been over a week since the U.S. captured Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. American forces bombed Caracas and then raided the military complex where Maduro and his wife were staying. Venezuela says that at least 100 people were killed. By the American forces as.
I'll try to get to it.
On the night of January 3rd, Venezuela's capital, Caracas.
So I'm trying to get to the point. Oh, this is good. I tell a U.S. secret weapon used in Venezuela
was attacked by the U.S. military.
Because they have DARPA robots, they have drones, they have the super soldier program, they have chemicals and all type of drugs that could alter their strength and all that. They have technology, they have super weapons like sonic weapons, laser weapons from space. They have a military, they have alliances. This is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. What do we have as Israelites? We have Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we have faith, and we have the truth. We don't have an army. We're not together as a people. Even within the tribes, you have division. For example, within, let's say, for example, the tribe of Judah, you have the different philosophies. You have the 5%er, you have the different denomination of Christianity. Right, you have the different religions. You have the division of the different gangs, which that's a philosophy in itself. That's a mentality. That like when you go into it, like these Bloods and Crips, like that's actually a religion, right? So even it's separated as a people, the 12 tribes, but even within the tribes, there's more separation. So the brothers that have woken up, right? What do we have to fight against Esau, the devil, the wicked? What do we have to fight against them? Well, we have carnally, we don't have anything because we don't have a military. We don't have weapons. You have Jakes in the hood that have certain weapons, you know, certain ammunition, but it's nothing compared to Esau's military. Yo, I'm sorry. I don't want to make this video long, but it's a spirit. You know what the hell? They have weapons to it. They have ammunition that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. They have the military helicopters. They have the fighter jets. They have drones. They have AI technology. We have Yahweh Bashmi Shai, faith and the truth, right? Their blessing is carnal, the sword, our blessing is spiritual. We have divine intervention from the angels and the Most High himself and his son, and spiritual power that they can't defeat. But
Maduro and his wife were sleeping at the military base. A number of senior Venezuelan officials lived there, and the base was among the locations targeted by the American strikes. Then, Delta Force commandos were lowered into the compound, and they proceeded to capture Maduro. But the commandos still had to face dozens of guards who were protecting the Venezuelan president. Many of them were from Cuba, because Maduro reportedly trusted Cubans more than his own security staff. But dozens of the guards were slain while the Americans extracted Maduro. One of the survivors, however, has given an eyewitness account of the raid. He said that they were completely outmatched by the American soldiers, and one part of his testimony stood out. He claimed that the US military used a powerful sonic weapon which brought the guards to their knees. The survivor recounted that many of the guards started bleeding through the nose, and some even vomited blood. He said that the trigger was an intense sound wave, and when he heard it, he felt as though his head was exploding from the inside.
so that's their blessing. Spiritual power on the left-hand side. He's blessed with the sword. Isaiah chapter 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, in the Western Hemisphere, in the Americas, right? Because the great deliverance is going to happen from Babylon the Great. You know? The elect is going to be delivered from the four corners of the world, but the great deliverance, like the huge, like the big one, because this is Egypt. We got delivered out of ancient Egypt in style, but this is going to be way better. It's going to be by chariots, you know, being taken up in a beam of light quickly, you know, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. So spiritual power, you know, super speed, you know, shooting energy blasts, you know, shooting lasers from your eyes, you know, teleportation, you know, super strength, the power of flight, you know, dodging bullets like Neo from the Matrix. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And who is at him? The enemy, Esau, Edom, and his troops, and his defense, you know, against the men of the Lord, against the Israelites. And that coming like a flood. Like a flood, Nahar, stream, river. Okay. And for that I got that's the end of the lesson, Lord. It was edifying. All praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bashem Yashai, Bashem Akakadash Toah.